Yo, what's going on, guys? It's J Mass, back again with another New England adventure. This time I'm right along the Vermont-New Hampshire border on the New Hampshire side in a small town called Chesterfield. It's a pretty rural town to the east of Brattleboro, Vermont. But we're here today because we're actually going to be checking out some pretty famous ruins. Now, I'm currently in the Madame Sherri forest, and we're going to be checking out a place called the Madame Sherri Castle. Now, the reason this is famous is because it actually houses something known as the Madame Sherri staircase, which was once part of this castle. It was a mansion built in 1931 by Madame Sherri. She was actually a New York costume designer, but she moved to Chesterfield and built this mansion for parties and entertainment with her theater friends. Of course, most of the mansion now is completely gone, decimated, lost to history. But the one thing that's mostly left behind, and probably the most iconic part of the ruins, are the staircases. Now, if you've spent a lot of time online and you're into urbex like I am, you've probably heard a lot of stories about abandoned staircases in the woods and how, they're haunted, they're portals to supernatural dimensions, stuff like that. Not saying I believe in that, but I'll leave that up to you to speculate. But nonetheless, we're going to be checking out the Madame Sherri Castle in the Madame Sherri Forest in Chesterfield, New Hampshire. Particularly the iconic stairs that people claim are just weird places. But there's also some other cool ruins in the area. And I'll give you guys a little more history as we check it out. So join me as we check out the Madame Sherri Castle. And if you'll notice right in front of me, these are the iconic stairs themselves. Once part of a huge mansion that was on this property. So before I go into more detail and history, I just want to make it clear they don't want you climbing these stairs. Now, I'll be honest, normally I'm not really one to follow authority, let's just say. The problem is this used to be a lot bigger, and I actually came here when that was the case. If you look over there, part of the stairs actually collapsed. So the problem is, this used to be a huge staircase. It went all the way up there. And last time I came, that was actually up. But the problem is last year it collapsed. So because of that, I don't want to cause more wear and tear to these stairs. It would suck if we actually lose these someday. So I'm actually going to be following the rules for once and not climbing the stairs. But that being said, these are the staircases that were once part of Madame Sherri's castle. So to give you a little context, Madame Sherri was actually born in Paris, France in the late 1800s, but she moved to the United States and eventually New York City, where she became a renowned costume designer for, theaters and plays and I assume Broadway. Eventually she moved to this area, Chesterfield, New Hampshire, where she constructed this castle in 1931 with a lot of help from a donor who aided her financially, but a lot of her own money. And this castle was primarily used for entertainment, throwing parties for her theater friends or other, engagements like that, social engagements. This was the early 1930s, keep in mind, pretty much right after the 1920s, which were probably the most lavish, flamboyant, just embellished periods of American history. I mean, you guys have all read The Great Gatsby, I assume. In a lot of ways, Madame Sherri was kind of like a real-life version of J. Gatsby. I actually read that online somewhere, and that really piqued my interest. So again, this is a 1930s era mansion, and the main draw to this place are these stairs here. Now again, as I said, these staircases actually used to extend up onto this platform here. And the first time I ever came here, which was early 2019, I actually climbed up the stairs. I climbed up all the way to here. But unfortunately, you can't do that anymore because these stairs collapsed last year. So that's a shame. And I'm not going to do that this time because I really don't want to cause more wear and tear to this historic site. But these are the stairs that people supposedly think are supernaturally present. But they are cool to check out. In a second, I'm going to show you guys the rest of the ruins. I will admit it's not a huge property. This will probably be a relatively short video. but I just want to bring you guys here to one of the more unique abandoned ruins in New England. So another interesting fact about Madame Sherri is that while she was obviously very wealthy during the time that she built and maintained this castle or this mansion, that wasn't the case for her whole life. She died in the early to mid 1960s, where she actually died in complete poverty. By that point, this mansion was just in ruins already. It was overtaken by vandals. A lot of it was destroyed, and I forget the exact year, but there was a massive fire here. And pretty much ever since then, the Madame Sherri Castle has been in ruins. Obviously now most of it's missing, but even when Madame Sherri was still alive, the castle was not in great condition. And when she died in the 1960s, it was all but destroyed and abandoned. But today, these are the ruins we see. This was part of the main foundation of the castle. As you can see, made out of stone, primarily. And you can see a lot of the remnants of what this was. I mean, this was obviously the foundation. I assume these were like windows or, you know, insulation. Of course, you got the corners. It's pretty cool. Over here, I just noticed there's like a candle or something. That's kind of interesting. Looks like someone lit a candle here. Wonder why. But this is the top of the Madame Sherri Castle. There's actually a little bunker or a cellar we can go inside. Actually, this is part of it. We're not going to go in this way. There's a better way to get in, but this is part of the cellar that we can go inside. This, I assume, was a fireplace at one point. Actually, it looks like people still use it for fires. Pretty cool, though. I'm going to show you guys the cellar, though, because that's a pretty cool sight to see. So now we're making our way over to the entrance of the cellar. And from this side, you can actually see a little bit more of the castle ruins. This is just another view of the staircases, the back end. And you got some more of the mansion's foundation over here. Again, one thing I love about older architecture is the use of loose stones like this. You know, you get a lot of those in New England, which I really love. I find it really quaint. But over here, as we make our way up, you're going to see there's a big entrance that goes inside this foundation, which I assume was a cellar or storage room. Again, I don't know exactly what it was, but that's my guess. It's actually right here. You got these three little archways, and we can go inside. One thing that's kind of interesting about the graffiti here is that, you know, when you go to abandoned places, you'll get a ton of graffiti. I mean, anyone who goes urbexing knows graffiti is a given. It's like death and taxes. You have to just expect graffiti. Here it's a little different. You don't really have your stereotypical graffiti. A lot of this is actually paying respects to Madame Sherri. Basement cigarettes for the ghost of Madame Sherri. Or right here, rest in peace, Madame Sherri. And even here, it looks like people are speaking in French because, as I said, Madame Sherri actually originates from Paris, France. So it's kind of interesting that the few vandalism there is here is paying respect to Madame Sherri and her tragic story. It's kind of interesting. But this is the cellar. Obviously not too much. It's mostly covered in rocks now. And obviously, as I showed you earlier, you can peek up here. This actually goes outside. Actually, we could probably just exit this way. This brings us right back where we were a few minutes ago. So that's pretty much it for the ruins, to be honest. It's not the largest abandoned location ever. There's not, you know, too much to see, but it is really cool. And frankly, it's the history that really gets to me. You know, just a pretty tragic story of a wealthy woman from the 1920s who was at her peak when she built this mansion, you know, throwing parties for her theater friends and guests. And she eventually died in obscure poverty in the 1960s, where this whole thing just fell into ruins. And even the story of the staircase is pretty sad. I mean, as I said, I remember coming here in 2019 with one of my friends. We climbed up the staircase. You could literally start from down there, climb up the whole staircase onto this foundation. And what do you know? Now it's just completely collapsed and destroyed. And I guess in a way, that's sort of a testament to the fragility of these abandoned structures. You know, at the end of the day, they don't last forever. They are temporary, and nature is always going to reclaim them. So as much as I love to visit these abandoned places and do crazy shit, sometimes you have to understand the impact that humans have on them. Thank you guys for joining me again. I've been J-Mass as always, and this has been another exciting New England adventure. A little bit shorter than my usual, but I still want to show you guys while I was in the area, the Madame Sherri Castle in the Madame Sherri Forest of Chesterfield, New Hampshire. It's a really cool site, and while it may not be the biggest or most exciting, it's unique and it's iconic. And it's particularly the staircase that people really know the Madame Sherri Castle for. Again, if you ever visit, I wouldn't recommend walking on it just to keep the structural integrity intact, because it would be a shame if we end up losing this thing someday. It really is a piece of history, you know, for urbexers and just in general. So that is the Madame Sherri Castle in Chesterfield, New Hampshire. Really unique, iconic, abandoned ruins. I've been J-Mass as always, and I catch you guys on the next one. See ya.